Hi there, my name is Sunny. I am a graduate and today I'll be talking about troubles with flatmates, homesickness and dealing with problematic lecturers. So when you first come into university, you're put into halls of residence with people you have no idea who they are and what kind of personalities they have. And on top of that, you're going to be living with them for the entire year. This could seem like a huge problem initially, and this was also my case as well. I didn't know who I was going to be living with until the day I moved in, and thankfully for me, I really like my flatmates. Or at least most of them, but we'll get onto that later. Because you don't know who these people are, personalities may clash and there may be arguments throughout the year. This is purely because everyone is in the exact same situation. Nobody knows anybody, and if you are two contrasting individuals, this could lead to some problems in the future. And in my case, this was me and one of my flatmates. There were quite a few of us that didn't particularly like this one flatmate just because their personality and the way they acted didn't coincide with exactly the kind of people that we were. And the way that we expressed is we just talked to them about it and shared that understanding. And that's the main thing, especially in first year as well, because everyone is so fresh and new, and that's the time where you want to showcase who you are as a person. And if that means that you don't get along with certain individuals, that's fine. Everybody isn't supposed to get on with everybody, especially at university, because there are so many different people there. In terms of homesickness, you are leaving the safety and comfort of your home for however many years and put into this new environment which you have no idea how that's going to turn out. And for some that can be quite daunting because you won't be seeing your friends and family who you have been for the past couple of years on a regular basis. You'll be seeing them every other time that you go home or during a term break or Christmas holiday. If you can go without seeing your family for a long time, that's completely fine. The same way it's completely fine if you want to go home every week. It really just depends on who you are. For me, for example, I used to go home about every-ish month. Not for my sake, I could happily have just stayed at the university, but it was more so for my family's sake, making sure that, oh, Sunny's still safe.
I'm fine.
But obviously, if you do miss home every now and again, it's also good to just call up your family every week or so just to see how they're going, how you're getting on, just making sure you catch up with everything and just show that you are able to function on your own at university. Now, when it comes to troubles with lecturers, that's when it gets a bit more complicated. There may be many times where you're in a lecture or in a seminar and you feel like your lecturer just isn't giving their all and they're not living up to the standard that you're paying the university for.
I got a headache and the runs, so I say, time for recess.
I had this experience when I was doing my dissertation, and I didn't feel that my dissertation supervisor was living up to what he should have been doing for me. I personally felt that he was putting in the bare minimum work in terms of feedback. He always delayed meetings that we had planned and rarely ever responded to my emails. And I just didn't feel that he was doing his role correctly. And what I chose to do with this was just file a complaint, not to him personally, but to the head of my course. Just because for me, this is my work that I was putting my 100% into. This is my dissertation. This is a huge part of my university experience. And I just wanted to make sure that the work I was putting in was being moderated correctly. So after he had been informed about that, he then started to put a bit more effort into his role.
Recess is over.
You're the one that's paying for university, and if the lecturers aren't living up to that pay grade, you can do something about it. Workload is quite difficult as well, just because throughout school and sixth form or college, you are still somewhat babysitted in terms of teachers giving you constant feedback and telling you this is a certain thing you have to do, whereas at university, it is very much so dependent on the individual. For example, if you don't do the work, nobody's going to tell you otherwise. If you fail, that would be your own fault. You are given the assignments and the briefs months before the deadlines, and then you have the constant lectures and seminars on top of that, and the lectures are always there as well if you want to email them and ask them about certain things or the tasks that you feel you might not get as much, and they can give you feedback on that. So if you are putting the work in, that's great, but because it is a very independent experience, university, you will have to make sure that you are on top of it. Unlike 90% of students who cram the assignments in the last 2 weeks before the deadline, including myself. Thank you for watching. This was my video on flatmates, homesickness, and troubles with lecturers. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you, and bye.